everyone, and welcome to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and today we're doing another indie horror spotlight. We got a husband and wife co-directing a awesome movie that's right now on Amazon Prime, Murdercise. I have Paul and Angie Ragsdale. Paul, Angie, how you guys doing? Thanks for coming on.
Oh,
Hi, thank you for having
doing great, man.
us.
Yeah, thank you for having
Yeah,
us.
we're so excited.
So, tell me a little bit about Murdercise.
So, Murdercise is our latest movie. It's definitely belongs to the small subgenre of aerobics horror movies. It's very, very small. There's only really two or three: Killer Workout and Death Spa. And then, if you want to count Linnea Quigley's Horror Workout, which I do, I count that as well.
Yeah,
So we wanted to make a movie that would be like right alongside them on the shelf in a video rental store. So we wanted Murder Size to live up to those two, which are very, very, the cult classics. So we aim to make something worthy to be in the subgenre.
awesome. Now, how long did it take production-wise?
The initial production was probably about 5 days. So it's like we did a 3 day weekend
Mm-hmm.
and then we came back for a regular weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like 95% of the movie
Yeah, about 90%. Yeah,
that we
90.
shot
Mm-hmm.
in 2 weekends. And then the rest was just pickup shots that we would have
Yeah,
to meet back up with people here and there. And
getting audio, this and that, doing
yeah,
effects. Yeah,
yeah,
that was kind of spread out just because when we started doing it, like the holidays came up, and so we waited after the holidays. I was editing and making trailers and stuff, and then when the this year rolled around, like okay, let's get all these final shots in, and that was over a couple, like few hours here, a few hours there. But initially, yeah, it was about 5 to 6 days of like principal photography, and then just pick up shots after that.
Awesome. Now, I've seen the trailer, and the trailer is zooming in on everything. So, so it looks like it has a little bit of sexiness
Yeah,
yeah.
movie.
for sure. Yeah, definitely. It definitely has, what people like, three B's, blood, boobs, babes, if you're into that.
Yeah.
Also aerobics too. So you can
Starting to
definitely learn how to
be
get in
one of
shape as well.
starting to be one of our signatures, I think. Zooming in on things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely zooming in. Now, is this like a horror comedy, like a Death Spa?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like the films that I like or that we try to model ourselves after are usually the fun horror movies. The
Hmm.
ones that like you just have a good time watching. They're not like scary. They're just like really funny. They got funny stuff, or they're just like really just like a rocking good time. I mean, like Return of the Living Dead, or Monster Squad, or Critters 2, Ghoulies 2. I often cite those,
Yeah.
and yeah, like Death Squad and Killer Workout to a certain extent. They're just like have these funny moments. And uh, when we do the screening of Murder Size and did our premiere, this is like a lot of laughs, a lot of cheering, a lot of hooting and hollering. And the best compliment we get when people come back and say they've watched it is, man, that was
It
so
was
much fun.
fun.
And that's
Yeah.
what we want to hear. That's music to our
That's
ears.
I'm a
now.
big chicken, so I couldn't make a scary movie if I tried.
Yeah.
I'd be too scared.
It's got to have some
It's
comedy,
gotta be fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could tell. I don't know how I'm gonna say this, but so I watched Slasherette.
Mm.
Enjoyed it. I could tell it had a
Cool.
woman touch to it,
Oh
so
yeah.
it makes sense now. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I
I
mean,
love that.
yeah, that's really cool you pointed that out, because I mean that is what makes our films different, I believe, is having a male female dynamic, for sure.
Hmm.
Like it's just a you know not to be sexist or whatever, but it's like attention to detail. It's just something that a lot of solo male film directors that I know or like I'm friends with, or they just don't have. It just
Hmm.
falls to the wayside.
I think if you don't spend a lot of time, again, not to be stereotypical, but if you don't spend a lot of time with women, it's kind of hard to know like what do they think about? What do they want? What are their
Mm-hmm.
goals? Like how do they joke around? Like what does their dialogue sound like? And I think sometimes horror films tend to fall victim to not knowing how to write for a woman, so they tend to be kind of like cliche, like, oh, she's just a sexy girl who screams,
Mhm.
or we
Mhm.
just need this girl to get killed, and who cares who she is? Like,
Or
it
even
could be anybody.
even down to like what Angie primarily takes care of is a lot of the aesthetics. So like costuming, art design, stuff like that. So like I've heard from other actresses say, like, oh, I just bring my own clothes or I go buy something. We don't do that. Like me and Angie, we buy the clothes and Angie picks out the outfits and lays them out and then we have them come
Right.
over and wear it and be like, okay, this is her, this is this character. We plan all this stuff out, and that's the touch that Angie has. She has an eye for detail in clothes and wardrobe and fashion. So that really helps, for us. So we don't have our actors, go get their own clothes or bring their own clothes. I mean, they can if they want to, if they have some
Yeah.
ideas, but the aesthetic is done by Angie. So that's, a big part of our
Trying to
our
create a whole
movies.
world here. There's a lot of
Yeah.
visual going on, and we want people to believe that they are where we are telling them they are.
Yeah.
So, like with Slashlet Party we did last time, if they're in a cabin, if they're at a bachelorette slash lorette party, we
Mm-hmm.
want it to be like fun, slumber party esque. If
Mm-hmm.
it's supposed to be 80s, we want you to believe it's 80s.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody's in there and they're wearing like a Beyonce t-shirt or something, they're gonna be like, wait a minute, is this
Yeah.
supposed to be 80s? Because I don't, they're using cell phones. I don't know.
Yeah.
The
Exactly.
vibes aren't there. So we try to pay attention to those kind of details and try to make sure that it fits the tone and the
Yeah.
story.
Because I mean, it's pretty amazing. I mean, so like you were talking about, when you see a male director of a horror movie, it has that misogynistic theme
Mm-hmm.
to it. But here's the counterpart: when you see a woman director of a horror movie, it has a super feministic
Mm-hmm.
aspect to it. Like, you're like, no man talks like that, thinks like that, acts like that. So to have a man and a woman together, I mean, you're going to get that nice mix.
Yep. Oh, for sure.
We try. We try.
Yeah, yeah. I really think that's the secret to the Wire movies sound the way they do, or why
Yeah.
people respond to them is because of our combination.
Plus,
So
like
that really makes sense.
if you look at the last three features we did, which is Murdercise, Slash Lorette, and Streets of Vengeance, they're
Mm-hmm.
heavily female cast. Like
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
primarily it's a lot of female leads, and the characters each have their own distinct personalities, so they're
Mm-hmm.
not just,
Yeah.
oh, it's just a bunch of girls and they all like makeup. It's oh,
Right.
one's like the sassy one, and one's like the rebel one, and
Mm-hmm.
one's they all have their own distinct personalities,
Yeah.
and I think that also is why people get attached to certain characters and they're like, I like that one the most because
Yeah.
that's like me.
Yeah.
I'm like the badass one, and
Yeah.
we like that. There's a lot of diversity
Yeah.
in character for people to be like, that's my favorite one because she's
Mm-hmm.
crazy.
Yeah.
So we like to make them have more of a range.
Oh yeah.
Now, for a character that it's been a while since I've seen a character. I was like, oh, I hope this character died. And Slasherette, the
I already know where you're going.
Yes.
the guy, the husband or
Yeah.
soon to be
Yeah.
husband. Oh my God,
Soon to be.
I was waiting for him to die. I'm not giving
I
away
know.
anything,
I
but
kind of want to remake that and add in some extra
I know. I
stuff.
thought I was going for something there, but like, oh no, that'd be don't kill him. But like now,
I
it's like,
mean,
oh, maybe
shit
we should
is
go
going
back.
down. I mean, shit is going down, and he's hiding in the closet. Like, oh, oh,
Oh
the
yeah,
most annoying character. Oh,
yeah,
I was
The
hoping he was
person,
going to die.
I know, the person you love to hate. We wanted
He
to
did a
make
great job of being
somebody.
an asshole. He did a
oh
great
yeah.
Yeah.
job of being an
Very,
asshole.
Hey,
very
yeah,
good,
he's a great asshole.
very good
Yeah,
job.
it's a perfect, character to hate. And that's
Hmm.
something
Yeah.
we wanted people to be like, oh, you hate that guy. Like, can't stand him. He represents everything we hate in a person.
Yeah, well, that's
and,
cool. That's cool to hear.
Mission accomplished. If you wanted to see him die, mission accomplished.
and then like his best friend, who was the groomsman, such a nice guy. Like,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
and I don't want to give anything away, but like,
But
sad.
what?
Right, right, right. You really felt for him. Like, oh man, right.
I liked him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, we'll have to tell him because
Yeah, I'll tell him that. Yeah, he's a great actor. Yeah, we love
he's
that
really
guy
sweet.
too. So that's really cool. That's really cool that you felt for this guy and wanted this.
Yes.
Yeah, we try to do that with our stories to be like, wait, what? I didn't think that was going to happen.
Mhm.
So we like to make it a little, switch it up.
A little bit.
Yeah, be a little bit twisty turny.
So this is the first time interviewing husband and wife co-directors. Now, here's a question:
Mhm.
does any of the butting heads at work ever carry over to home life?
That's hilarious.
Like, Paul, did you ever sleep on a couch? Because it's, on
Has
the
yet
set.
to happen. Has
Only
yet.
time I sleep on the couch is if we have actors sleeping at our house and they need the room more than I do. So, like in case like Slasherette Party, we were all sleeping in the cabin, So I was sleeping on the floor. Angie had the bed because it was on like a twin bed, and
Yeah.
so like everyone was sleeping here and there. So that's the only time.
I'm surprised people don't ask us that more often.
Yeah,
Like,
that's true. About our relationship
yeah,
dynamic on
I
set.
I think people would think like, well, you're a couple, so there's got to be times where things arise, and there's definitely times where you have to think on your feet and stuff starts getting a little like, stressful.
Yeah. But
But
no, that has to do with the production. Like it has to do with like, oh shit, we're running out of time. What do we do? Like we only
yeah,
have 2 hours, so me and her will huddle over there sometimes with our cinematographer as well. And we're like, okay, man, we got to figure something out. And so we're looking at each other. What do we do? And we figure something out. So those are only times that we have to like
come
not
under
times of trouble,
pressure.
but pressure.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess.
It
The
never has to do with like us having an idea and I want to go this way and she wants to go the other way. Like we
yeah,
we figured all that out before
That's
we
amazing.
that
even step on set.
that's what I was gonna say. Our pre-production work is so locked in at
Yeah.
this point because we've been doing it for so many years. We spend all our time working out all the issues before we ever set foot on set.
Okay.
So we know exactly what is going to go down on what
Hmm.
day, at what time, who's wearing what time they're showing up,
Hmm.
who has allergies to food,
Yeah.
who can eat this, who's a vegan, who's got to fly out tomorrow. Like all those details are
Yeah.
prepared way in advance. We never plan that stuff in front of anybody, so they
Yeah.
don't have to be part of the boring scheduling, menus,
Yeah. But
clothes, money, the budgeting.
yeah.
That stuff is all orchestrated by us behind the
Yeah.
scenes. Which even that, it's not anything that we would ever argue over because we're trying to
No.
build this thing together. I know it
Hmm.
sounds like untrue, but we've been together 19 years.
Right.
So you don't stay together with a person for almost 2 decades without learning how to communicate.
Hmm.
And
Bounce off
we're,
each other.
yeah, we're best
Yeah.
friends and we know how to troubleshoot together. That's one
Yeah.
of our strengths. And we know each other so well
Hmm.
that at this point we can kind of read each other, where each other is going.
Yeah.
So if anything, it's actually one of our strongest assets is that we are so tight that when we go to set, Paul can go down, be sick, and I can step in and take over, or vice
Or
versa.
vice
And that
versa.
actually did happen with Slash Alert Party. The day we arrived, I got really sick, so I
Hmm.
was out. And thankfully, everything was prepared so he could just step in and take over his duties
Hmm.
and my duties. But yeah, we try to make it really fun when
Yeah.
people are there,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and they end up treating it. They end up sometimes they end up calling us mom and dad because they like it feels like a homey vibe,
Yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
like, "Mom, Dad, what
Yeah.
time is lunch?"
Yeah, like fights and conflicts and stuff that never happens on our set. Like we always make sure everyone is comfortable and taken care of. Like I said, the only times that we think's under pressure is like when we're trying to figure out, okay, we can't shoot this time, but this guy's got to leave, so let's move things around or whatever. But those are the only times where we need to like come together and like, all right, let's figure this out, and then we'll go get it. But
Right, and
everyone else, they're they're not aware of it. They're over there like hanging
having a
out,
good time,
eating,
taking their
snacking and
pictures.
stuff, laughing and stuff.
Yeah,
So like yeah, they're always having a good time. So there's
it's
never any fights or big
yeah
blowouts that I've seen on other
on
sets
other people's
before,
sets. Yeah.
like especially in film school. So
Oh yeah.
you don't want to be around that shit. Like that
No,
shit
it's
sucks.
stressful. It sucks.
Yeah.
But it starts at the top. So
Hmm.
It
if
does.
it's our project and we're setting the tone of how things are,
Exactly.
it's like we're here to have fun. Otherwise, what's the point? We
Yeah.
don't want people
Mhm.
showing up to an environment that's going to be
Yeah.
stressful, chaotic. You're like, oh
Yeah.
my god, are they about to like break up or like start throwing blows at each other? Like, what's happening?
It's a drag, man, when you're
We've
around
been
that.
on other we've been guests on other sets where stuff
Hmm.
starts going down and we're like,
Yeah.
this is so awkward. Like
Yeah.
we don't ever want to be that.
Yeah. We don't want to be
We want people to
that
come,
ever.
have fun, dress up, get good food, have a good time, make new friends,
Hmm.
and then at the end have this fun project that we can all watch together and laugh.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's amazing. All right. Now I have a question for you. So even for me, like each interview, each video, I rewatch it. I'm like, okay, for next interview, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna critique it and do something better. So what was the one thing between Slasherette Party to Murdercise that you were like, oh, for Murdercise, I am not going to do that, or I'm going to do this.
That is such a good question.
Yeah,
Why don't
very
people ask
good.
those good? That's a
Yeah,
good
very good
question.
question. Yeah, I
Because
mean
I am
that
the great interviewer. That's why I'm the
You
best.
are.
you
You are.
definitely, man.
That's so
Yeah,
insightful.
we've had a lot of interviews, so
That's a really good
you would know.
question. I think we take something new
Yeah,
every time we make a movie. We're
for
like, okay,
sure.
next time, no, whatever it is.
Hmm.
Like, and I think this time, I don't know if it's gonna be the same, but this time I walked away saying, okay, next time we need more time,
Yeah,
like
it's
longer
always more
shoots,
time
because
for
we're always
sure.
trying to cram too much in too short amount of
Hmm.
days.
More
And
days.
the biggest one is next time we're gonna probably, well, not probably. See, I'm already starting to back out. Next time we need an assistant.
Yeah.
uh,
Yes.
we've been operating just the two. People say, "Oh, your crew." It's like there is no crew. There
Yeah.
is just me and Paul and our cinematographer.
Right.
There's no extra people. There's no gophers. There's no people holding boom poles and
You
stuff. That's
gotta have a gopher.
Yep.
we need somebody to help us hold the clipboard of like what's happening today, and
Hmm.
when people have questions, when they need to know where the bathroom is and where's the napkins and where's my
Hmm.
costume and I forgot socks and I need a
Hmm.
Sharpie,
Oh
those kind of details, we need somebody to handle that, because I've been handling that role as a producer
yeah.
for so
Hmm.
many years
Mhm.
that now we're getting so big that I'm starting to spend so much time with those like little details that I'm getting farther and farther away from the camera and
Hmm.
directing. So I
Hmm.
want to get back to that. So
Yeah.
next time, more shoot days,
Hmm.
and an assistant. Was that the same for you?
Well,
Or
I would say from slash trap party to murder size, yeah, definitely more time, more crew. Which this time on murder size we actually had an audio person, so we
Oh,
had
nice.
four people crew. But we learned from this one we actually need more than
yeah,
that. But it was more than slash trap party. And also, we learn the things that we want to repeat or want to carry
yeah,
over. Like on slash
Mhm.
trap party, because we're in a cabin, we had Angie's mom there stay with us, and she was basically the cook. She cooked breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the
Oh,
cast and
that's
crew.
amazing.
Instead of going out and getting food, we had someone just make food. And so
Hmm.
we were like, okay, we really like that. Let's try to repeat that again. So we had food made not on the premises because of the studio, because there's no kitchen, but
a,
it was
a
pre-made,
meal
and
was
then
delivered
yeah, it was delivered, and so it
every.
was catered, and so like, but our family, or her mom, or like your sisters, in-laws, they made food and like just made great, great food, and we just brought it over, and that was really a system that we really liked from before. So we definitely want to bring that over. So yeah, a lot of lessons learned, but also a lot of good things that we learned too. That are like, hey, yeah, that really worked
Yeah,
out. So
that
let's do
worked.
that
Let's
too.
keep doing it. Yeah.
So you two are a team, and with every team, there's each individual has strengths and weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm gonna start with you. What is one strength that Angie has that you wish you had? And then Angie, I'm gonna ask you the same question about
Ooh,
Paul.
that
Another
is
great
such a good
question.
question. Oh my
Oh,
gosh,
what I
you are
admire,
good. You
yeah,
are good.
oh yeah, for sure. What I admire about Angie is that she has one of her strengths, just a lot of them, but one of them for sure is attention to detail. Like I just don't have that. Like I try my best. Trying to be a director, you want to have attention to detail, but man, like sometimes it's like I don't know if it's just because being a man or just the way I grew up or whatever. I don't
Man,
know.
man,
It
yeah.
could be. I just dense, I guess. But like, yeah, she has attention to detail, an eye for detail, and also an eye for cinematography too. Like I used to shoot our films, and so that was really fun. But then I gave that up because we started getting bigger movies. So we had another cinematographer there, and sometimes we're both looking at it or something, and she'll come along and be like, "Oh, what's that? What's this?" I'm like, "Oh, I didn't even notice that. What is that in the corner?" It's like a ball of wires or something. What is that? It looks gross. Like, what are we shooting over here? So it's that I really admire about her that I wish I was better at. I'm trying to. But like I said, it's just a lot of good qualities that
Oh my
I
gosh.
wish I was better
Thank you.
at. For
That's
sure.
so sweet. Okay, so Paul has a million talents too that I could go on and on. One of I think the top two probably that just immediately come to mind is he's such a good communicator. He knows exactly how to communicate with each individual because people are so different. You get
Yeah.
like really quirky people, you get really quiet people that are more introverted, you get people who are really extroverted, and they can tend to start overpowering the other
Mm-hmm.
castmate. So he really knows how to address each individual person so everybody feels like I got my time. He's listening to me. He understands me. He's a very patient and a great communicator.
Well,
Um,
I'm a Libra, so it's all about balance, you know. So
yeah.
I'm a
Okay.
Libra
I got.
too.
Oh,
Oh
really?
yeah, all right,
What's
Yeah,
bro.
what's your birthday?
September 27th.
Oh,
Oh,
29th.
close.
29th.
29th.
Pretty dang close. Pretty dang
See,
close.
there you go. Okay, see, then
So I think it's all about balance,
yeah,
you
you
know.
guys
Like,
are
Yeah,
in a good team too. So yeah, that balance, making sure like the extroverts are extroverting and the
mm,
introverts are introverting, and it's
right.
all working out.
Yeah, you never want to neglect people. You know, you want to check in on everybody. As a director, you
yeah,
have to. Like, hey
He,
man, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you
he
doing?
likes to make sure everyone knows that they're valued, they're
Yeah.
important, they're contributing something, and that they're doing a great job. So I love his communication skills. Obviously, I benefit from that as his wife, that he knows how to listen, and he's patient and he's
Hmm.
understanding. So he has all that stuff. The other thing is he's like the hardest working person I've ever known. He has something to do all day, every day. He's just off and about, back doing stuff, whether he's like writing something new or thinking of new ideas, editing something, or he's handling all the social media stuff, he's packaging orders. He's constantly doing something.
Well,
There's
until
like
I hire someone else
there's never a
to
moment
do
where I see him
it.
just like, oh, I'm just gonna kick back and like he's just so like nonstop working, and I'm like, I'm cool. I'm just gonna play my Switch for a while. I'm gonna take a break.
now, how long do the both of you take off between movies? So let's say you finish Murder Size.
Mm.
How long before y'all get back into the lab and start writing for your next movie?
That's another good question.
Yeah, good question. Great
Okay,
question.
you need to teach a class. That's
Yeah,
good.
for sure.
That's good.
Well, see, like after Slash Art Party, came while we were shooting the last part of Slash Art Party, COVID hit. So we released it in 2021. It's full on COVID, and we let the movie play out, everything. We didn't know like what was gonna happen with the world, how soon we can get back to doing stuff and everything. So in for that remainder of that year of 21 and into 22, I just started writing, and I finished up a script I had been working on for a long time, and I decided I'm just gonna finish it this year, 2022. I'm gonna finish it, and there was actually another script too that I started at the end of 21 that I decided I was gonna finish in 22, and that was Wrestle Babes, and then that was OnlyFangs, and then at the end of 22, I was like, you know what? I want to write a script really quick, really fast. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to have a year of trying to write it. I decided to give myself like a month or two, a month and a half, and that was Murdercise. And I wrote that at the end of 22, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna keep writing. So in 23, we can actually,
Get to work.
yeah, get to work basically.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, that was that was last year, but it's 21. I decided to write it, and then 22 is when we started. I'm sorry, at the end of 21, I started writing Murdercise or finished writing Murdercise, and then 22 is like, okay, let's get to work. Um, and then so now that we've done this movie, and now it's finally out. We have already our next two movies written, ready to go, but we want to take a little bit of time and prep the next movie because what we learned with Murdercise, because it was our biggest movie, like we raised like the most amount of money on our Indiegogo, and it took so much prep that we learned like, you know what, we actually need even more prep time because we anticipate the next one being even bigger.
Hopefully the same
Yeah. I mean,
size
well, because
or
Murdercise really
bigger.
caught us off guard. We didn't know it was going to be this big. We didn't know we were going to raise this much money. But somehow it just caught on. Like people kept saying, "Oh man, your guys' campaign has gone viral." I was like, "What do you mean it's gone viral?" Like I have no idea that's gone viral. So we realized that we have a lot of equity, I guess, with a lot of fans, a lot of supporters. They want to see what we have to offer, and so for the next one, we are going to take a little bit of time in the pre-production, like getting the name out there, getting the word out, getting the merch out, that kind of stuff before we even start making a movie. So roughly it takes about, like one a year if we're lucky. But right now it's like, like a year and a half,
Well, we
something like that.
complete of like film from pre-production to post-production, like it's
Hmm.
all within a year typically, but we're trying to speed that up a little. But typically, we do take break from fall to winter, between fall and winter,
Mhm.
because there's a lot going on. I mean, all the holidays come up, and
Mhm.
a lot of times we're working with people who are in school or they have kids in school, and there's
Yeah.
a lot of like vacations and holidays, not to mention all the illness. That's flu season, so a lot of people go down with that. The weather conditions always hold us back too, because we
Mhm.
always have stuff that's outdoors at some point. So
Mhm.
even with Slash Lorette, we cut it really close because we were shooting at a cabin,
Oh yeah.
and we shot our final thing at the cabin, and then it snowed like the next day. So we were like, oh man, we got the hell out
Yes.
of there real
Yeah.
just in
Yeah.
time. Um, so we're trying to give more, like, just accept the fact that it's very hard to film in the winter, and
Mhm.
just call it like just call it. We're
Yeah.
probably not going to shoot something during that time, but that is a perfect time for us to start finalizing more scripts, making more plans, and starting
Yeah.
pre-production
Brainstorming.
for the next thing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So for this winter, I already have things I have that I want to start writing
yeah,
for the end of this year. Even though I already have two scripts ready to go,
yeah,
I still want to keep up the the momentum, of writing new
Mhm.
things. So I
yeah.
have new ideas already that I'm gonna start working on as soon as the winter months come around.
Yeah, we already will be starting pre-production on the next thing this
Hmm.
winter. So
Hmm.
starting to look at budgeting, the locations, the casting of the next movie, all
Yeah.
that stuff's going to start happening now, like in the next couple months.
Yeah.
Even though we won't shoot it until probably spring or
Yeah.
summer, but at least we'll have all that time to plan and get things locked in, scheduling wise, and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
So what's the next movie?
The next one's gonna be a vampire film called Only Fangs. Um, kind
I love
of kind
vampires.
of get it. Yeah, you gotta get it from the title. Group of vampire girls start up a new app with the help of a monster hunter played by Drew Marvick. We think it's gonna be Drew Marvick, but yeah, it's a movie that we're really excited about. It's really funny. It's another funny movie, or at least I've been told it's funny from the people who read it. And we want to bring back some people from the last movie too. So we're real excited about that. It's gonna be bigger than any other movie we've done before. So we can't wait to start that one. A lot of people are really looking forward to that one.
Awesome, awesome. All right, so now this is the part of the interview where I just asked you guys three off the wall random questions.
Ooh,
Okay.
All right, since you guys are a couple, I'm sorry, hard questions. I'm not, since you guys are a couple, I am going to quiz your knowledge of the other
oh,
one.
I failed.
All right, Paul,
Yeah.
Angie, Paul. What's Angie's favorite horror movie? Angie, what's Paul's?
Ooh,
So your favorite horror
you
movie
know it. It's so easy.
is it?
Yes.
Mm, I
Does it
mean, if
count as horror?
I don't know, does
Just
it?
say it. Just say it.
Okay. Well, okay. Ghoulies too.
Yes.
Okay.
He's
Goonies is horror.
he's
Yeah.
adorable. He's like evil and likes to bite people's arms off, and he has the shirt with suspenders.
Yeah, yeah, because I showed her Ghoulies. We watched Ghoulies and Ghoulies 2
Ghoulies, yeah,
one
yeah.
night, and she's like, "Oh, he has a little on the front. He's coming out of a toilet. And has like a little t-shirt on, suspenders, but he never wears a t-shirt or suspenders at all."
Highly
So
disappointed.
yeah, she was very disappointed at that one. So
Still my favorite movie, though. I
yeah,
think.
Ghoulies 2 though was
I mean,
good.
it's not really hard because I've not seen very many horror films, so
Right.
that's pretty easy.
So I was like, okay, I think you like that one.
Paul's favorite? Oh my god, that's so hard. I think I'm gonna throw it back to your childhood. I think your OG favorite one is Monster Squad.
Yes,
Mm.
that's you just can't. It's just undefeated. And I know they want to make a remake or whatever, but like that's just my go-to. I had it recorded on VHS off of Cinemax or HBO back in the day, and we just watched that movie all the time. So this is the one I quote the most too.
Classic.
So
Yeah, that's true.
So, next question: if you both could make a remake, what movie would it be?
Oh.
you know, it's
Mm.
funny. There's a movie called Slash Dance, and it's not a very good movie, but it has a great cover. And the cover actually inspired the cover to Murdercise. Like I don't know if you remember it, but it's like these two girls are on the front, and they look like one of them's like an aerobics girl, and one of them's like kind of like she has like studs and like leather, and she's carrying a shotgun, and then there's a guy behind them in smoke, and he's carrying like a knife or something. So that was very, very inspirational to for us, for as far as like aesthetics. But the movie itself is not great. Like I wished it was good. Like I wished it was good, but it's just not. It's bad. This is not good. And I don't really say that about movies very often. But what I mean bad, I guess, is because like I had a lot of potential.
You were let down.
Yeah, I was definitely sold on the cover. Like, oh man, this is gonna be so good, and it's like, nah, really.
I mean, don't you hate that? Like, it seems like sometimes the better the cover is, the worse the movie.
Oh yeah,
I've never.
Yeah, that rate. Yeah, the equation. Yeah, that definitely
Yeah.
checks out for sure.
Yeah.
It's a good.
It's like they know that the movie's bad, so let's make a great cover. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Got to get them in somehow.
Uh-huh.
Exactly. That's where all the budget went.
Oh yeah.
I think mine is the Angel movie, right? It's called Angel.
Oh, Angel, yeah.
Because the one where it's like the girls and they're back to back on the cover.
Oh yes, yes, yes.
One's like a good girl and one's a bad girl. I thought they were twins.
You thought there were two people.
I thought there were two girls. That's like one's the bad girl and one's the good girl, and then they're gonna like swap character or something.
Yeah, like
and they were gonna like trick people because they were twins, and it wasn't that at all.
No.
It was like what is she?
She's a schoolgirl by day, hooker by night.
Yeah, that's not what I thought. I thought it was gonna be two angels, like two girls that were gonna go around causing chaos by being each other, like pretending to be each other.
Long lost twins.
Yeah, like long lost twins. I thought they were like the bad one was gonna make the good one go bad, and then it wasn't gonna be angel anymore. It was gonna be like bad.
Yeah,
angel.
devil.
Yeah, devil.
Demon.
I want to remake that. My version.
Last question. If budget wasn't an issue at all, unlimited budget, what is one thing that you would have added to Murdercise?
Oh.
To Murdercise.
Those are great questions. See, why are you coming up with the great questions? I'll say it. I'll say mine.
Okay, yeah.
I think and it's not a knock to the location we had because that guy saved our ass for providing that studio. But I do wish we had a budget to have our own studio. Like if we could own our own space so that we could transform it and no one would care. So if we could like paint the walls or move stuff around or build room within room so that we could just constantly be changing a space up and use it as like a sound stage. That way we could set it all up and we could have access to it 24/7 and I can make it a set and then no one would touch it. It would just stay there overnight or we could stay shooting there all day, all night, as early as we want. Having to rely on other people's locations, it gets tricky and you definitely hold your breath the day of because you're like, I hope to God they didn't change their mind. I hope they're going to show up. I hope they're going to show up on time. I hope they're not mad that there's like 30 people here and I hope people are going to be respectful of the space. So I think that having like our own studio would be really cool. Then you can really make it look like whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, I'd have to say that too because like for me, you know, I like a lot of the old school analog special effects.
I should have said special effects too. Oh,
yeah.
Well, anyway, too late.
Yeah, well, yeah, I would say that, you know, as far as like a studio and stuff, like I love all like the old cameras because when I was writing the script, like I really thought about the studio that I worked at our junior college, local junior college, and it had like all that old early 90s analog, you know, tape to tape, you know, decks and stuff like that. So if budget wasn't an issue, I definitely would have filled the movie with more of that stuff because, you know, that to me just I love everything about, you know, like small production houses and like you know, analog and videotape, you know, just more of that, like to me, because we had a lot in Murdercise, and I'm definitely appreciative of what we had, but yeah, I really wish I would have had more, like way more 80s stuff, like way more period, you know, stuff, like, you know, and
more props.
Yeah, like more like cars, props, costume, even more, just more, because I think what we did was really good with what we had, but yeah, if I could have had more money, like definitely like way more 80s period stuff for sure.
That's amazing. That's great. So guys, how can everyone find you?
You can find us on Instagram, A_P_films. You can definitely find me on Facebook as well, Paul Ragsdale. I'm always on there, so if you want to drop me a DM and tell me about movies or whatever, go ahead, hit me up. People hit me up all the time, so do that. But yeah, those are the two main places for sure. We have like 3 films on Tubi right now. We have Cinco de Mayo, Streets of Vengeance, and Slasherette Party, and soon Murdercise will be on Tubi. Not sure when, but it's like it's already been selected already. But if you want to watch Murdercise, you can watch that on Amazon Prime and newvillagevideo.com.
Awesome. Guys, definitely check out Murdercise on Amazon Prime right now. Slasherette on Tubi, definitely check that out. I enjoyed it. It's an 80s B movie. Listen, I love it. I'm an 80s kid. I like that
Yes.
B movies. So,
That's us, man.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely check it out. Paul, Angie, thank you for coming on. You guys, I love you guys. You guys are a blast.
Hey, man, thank you for the great questions, man. Thank you for being a great host. Thank you for having us.
Please keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, dude.
Yes, I would love definitely have you guys back on to promote anything in the future.
Awesome. We'll definitely be here.
We'll
be there. Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you for coming to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.